Well, it's speed, technique, and don't get hit, isn't it? And then one of his main things is don't get hit, which sometimes thought people he may have been a slightly boring fighter because he's not getting hit. But why would he get hit?
Yeah, defensively, he's probably arguably alongside a guy called Pernell Whitaker, the best defensive fighter we've ever seen. And look, I understand the dangers of the sport, and the idea for me is not to get hit, right? To go in there and land and inflict as much damage as you can without also taking damage. And he was the master of that. He really was. And not only that, but there is the phrase, obviously, he talked the talk and walked the walk. So he would go out there, we heard a little bit of the clip there, he would be very flashy, he would sell the fight, but ultimately he's got to go in there and kick some behind. And he always did that. In a sport where people lose and get hurt and, it could not be your night sometimes, it was always Floyd Mayweather's night. And I think in my generation, arguably, not even arguably, 100% the best boxer of this generation, so the last 25 years.
I remember the Canelo fight. That was one that sort of springs to mind. It's about 9-10 years ago now, isn't it? It's still the only defeat he's had, isn't it, Canelo?
So Canelo's lost once recently.
Oh, yeah, of course.
To Bivol. But you're right, up until then, that was it. And Canelo came in as this young, bigger, stronger Mexican and promoted by Oscar De La Hoya, and Oscar had obviously lost to Floyd. So Oscar kept on throwing these fighters at Floyd, like, I've got one now, this is the one that's going to beat you. And in America, obviously, African-American versus Mexican, those fights were always quite big, and everyone thought this Canelo might have a chance. He absolutely schooled him. And if you go to see what Canelo's gone on to do since, again, that looks so much better on Floyd Mayweather's resume. We are talking about something special here, and I'm able to separate Floyd outside the ring and Floyd inside the ring. Outside the ring, we know he has his problems. Inside the ring, you are talking of a genius in the boxing ring, and maybe, I know sort of historians will point to, your Sugar Ray Robinsons and your Sugar Ray Leonards and, Joe Louis. He is in the discussion as being one of the greatest fighters of all time.
What's the excitement level when he turns up at a boxing match? Does the boxing public recognise him as one of the greats? Or is
insane, and he likes to be. He wants to be seen as well. He doesn't shy away. He'll have Floyd Mayweather at best is 5'6", and he'll make sure he's surrounded by 7-foot monsters. But who's that? Oh, it's Floyd coming. It must be Floyd. But being in Vegas for recent fights and speaking to people that have been in the game a lot longer than me, Gareth A. Davis is one of them that's been out to Vegas for a Floyd fight. He said it's unlike anything you've ever seen. Like, every single person turns up. Some are turning up to see him get beat. Because with a mouth like that, sometimes you want to see someone crack him. But no one's laced a glove on him. He's probably only had 2 tough fights in his career where you kind of think, okay, maybe there's a chink in the armour there. Both of those fights he's rematched and won comfortably. We are talking about a genius, and not just boxing as well. What he's been able to do in terms of marketing. He's one of the first boxers to really sell their brand as opposed to aligning with a major sports brand. So he's shown boxers you can do that. He's got his own promotional company. Special athlete. Could have been higher on the list, but obviously the list is incredible, but it really is that special.
We were chatting earlier on about the fact that Fury AJ is not going to get made, and one of the sad things about his career is that we saw the Pacquiao fight again 5 years too late, didn't we? And that's one of the sadnesses, because it could have been a career he's had plenty of great fights, but it could have been career definer. But it was just happened too late.
It's a shame, right? I mean, it's weird listening to the news with Ben Fletcher there talking about the AJ Fury falling apart, and you think, well, it took 5 years to make the Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather fight, and I said Floyd is the greatest fighter of his generation. The only other person to debate that is Manny Pacquiao, and you're right, we should have seen it way sooner, but when it did happen, it was the highest grossing boxing fight of all time. There's a big fight on the weekend, Conor Ben Eubank, and they're hoping that it does around 600 to 1 million pay-per-view buys. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao done 4.5 million pay-per-view buys at $120 a pop in America. Grossed ridiculous amounts of money, and Floyd won that fight comfortably. And although it wasn't the best Manny Pacquiao went on to win world titles. Floyd embarrassed him. That's how good he is. Honestly, we are talking about a genius. You're talking Roger Federer comparable in tennis, or Messi comparable in football. Honestly, he's a genius in the boxing ring, and I've always said I think it's the hardest sport in the world just because of the dangers of it. And at times he made it look very, very easy. That's how good he was.
Sugar Ray Leonard came in and saw myself and Andy about 10 years ago in the studio, and you wouldn't have thought he was a boxer. I mean, there was not a mark on him. And kind of Floyd's in that camp to an extent as well, isn't he?
He is, and it's funny you mentioned Sugar Ray, because there's always been that, what if they fought? Everyone's done those mythical matchups. What if Floyd fought Sugar Ray at welterweight in their peak, who would have win? You got the best defensive fighter in Floyd, and you got one of the best aggressive fighters in Sugar Ray, and that's always been the dream sort of mythical matchup. But Floyd is like that, not a mark on him at all. Speaks well, and I've always said with boxing, it is a case of get in, get rich, and get out. Because of the dangers of it, go in and get your accolades, world titles, money. He got those.
But do you think the chasing of money will have affected who he fought? Like we say, the Manny Pacquiao fight came probably 5 years too late. But is that because of, from both camps, let's make as much money as the champion as possible? Do you think chasing the money maybe sort of skewed his career a little bit?
Probably. There are some sort of episodes in his career where you could have said, you should have fought that person. There's a guy called Antonio Margarito who everyone thought he maybe avoided. You could have fought that person. You could have fought maybe him and him. But arguably, when you do look at the resume, it's so thick with names. I was on here recently and I was talking about Tyson Fury, and people like Tyson Fury should retire. And I was like, maybe, but you need to thicken up that CV. You need to have a couple of more names on there. Floyd has won titles in 5 different weight classes, so he's made sure that he's picked up the names and the belts grown throughout the years. And his CV, when it's all said and done, and you look at the CV, maybe he should have fought him then or there, but he's fought everyone he could have fought. And honestly, he will go down as one of I think top 5 greatest fighters of all time.
And how long is he going to carry on finally? What do you mean? It's as said, these fights, no one's laying a glove. Great fighters didn't lay a glove on him, so the people he's fighting now aren't going to do that either. But should he just sort of stop? Or?
Yeah, he has to. I want him to. This is a guy that's made, I don't know, upwards of $500 million in his career just from boxing. So we're not talking of just endorsements and things, just from boxing. When's enough?
Yeah.
He's got a fight coming up against Deji from KSI's younger brother. I know who you know that is, Charlie. A YouTuber. I know. I'm sure you're fully averse in those guys.
We were playing Skepta.
We were. So you know
Jethro.
And I'm like, what's he doing? I don't understand what's he doing. But as long as people are paying him 6 or 7 million for what are glorified sparring sessions, he will still take that 6 or 7 million. He equated it to robbing a bank. He said this is easy money. That's what he said. Money grab. So he probably still will do it. It's clearly dangerous to do. I mean, even his last fight a couple of weeks ago, he actually got hit. He got hit on the chin, and then he was like, okay, 1 second, you're not playing, are you? And then he knocked the guy down. So look, his reflexes are clearly going. He's 45 now. And again, I will say again, the sport is dangerous and he should get out while he can. But if someone's chucking you $6 or $7 million, it's not easy to turn down.
Tells you all you need to know. Last week, he actually got hit in a boxing match.
Got hit in a boxing match. A guy that's never been down. Never been down in 50 fights.
Fantastic. You're back on Thursday with number 7.
I'm back on Thursday with number 7. I don't want any clues from either of you as to who number 7 could be.
Is it?
No.
Okay.
No clues whatsoever. Until I play the clip, no one will know.
Okay.
Nice one.
But guys, thanks for having me.
We'll see you on Thursday.
Cheers, guys.